What's up? What's up? What's up?
Hello, 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 Sheeples. This
That's
is
not
thousand
Z.
minus seven. This is not Z.
This
Uh,
is Z whose character broke last week, but I will still put on a brave face. Uh,
the thing
and
is, everybody knows who you are, Z.
yeah, but there'll be like a bunch of future listeners who are gonna come in who have no idea
Yeah,
who Mr. Holistic is. So we've got to
Mr. Holistic, Mr. 360
keep up that
degree.
charade.
Oh my! But yeah, so I think today I wanna keep the 1000 minus 7 alias on because it's a bit of an interesting episode, isn't it? Like we are doing a kind of an AMA style video where we want the sheeples to ask us anything. And we are, well, this is not a video, this is a podcast, my mistake. But like in this whole thing, we wanted to kind of keep it, I guess, really candid, one. And two,
Mhm.
the idea behind it was we wanted to make coffee while doing this. That's why the name of this episode you will
Such
see
a
has
fail.
Kaafi vibes in it.
Such a fail because
Um,
my coffee is already over.
well, at least I have a coffee in my hand.
Yeah.
As
So,
much as we can't be together and make coffee right now,
oh yeah,
we can at
that's the
least
plan. That's what the future.
record the episode for the time being, right?
Remember that was the second one that we recorded and we
Oh,
viewed it and then we waited 10 minutes.
yeah, dude.
We had it
Sheeple, like
without sugar,
honestly,
right?
if y'all haven't heard that episode, it was so much fun, and it kind of has an ASMR aspect of us just brewing a
Ooh.
coffee and drinking it. So just check it out if y'all really want to. But yeah, so we kind of asked the sheeples on our Insta, like on the story, to ask us questions, give us riddles, give us scenarios, and
So it's like that
you
Bollywood thing,
sheeples came
like
through. Yeah,
we had the
like
whole Amma, Amma. AMA
I
skills. Just
KNN
everything
and what I'm
sounds so
saying.
intellectual when you like acronym the fuck out of it, right? Like,
Well, technically for us, it would be AUA, isn't it? Like because
oh yeah.
AMA is Ask Me
Unless
Anything. AUA would be
you and I merged in this big old
yeah.
blurb that like Lily and Marshall did, and they're like, we'd love to.
Yeah. So this is just a fun one, kind of interesting because there were some really deep questions and there were some really stupid ones as well. I wouldn't call them stupid because we asked some of them as so
K
we
dash
did a
में
joke.
dash है.
We did a joke where Z asked one from his own account and I asked one from my own
Yeah.
account just because we were bored.
So no one's
And
asking questions on me. I was like, you know what? Fuck this. I'll ask my
yeah,
future self a question.
और कोई नहीं तो हम ही पूछा.
Yeah, and see world, that's how you be self-sufficient and not dependent on anybody. Start your own
But
company, pay your own salary to yourself, pay your own taxes. That's
but
by the way, that's
honestly,
what
like
sole proprietorship is, huh? By the way.
dude,
I did
honestly, I
commerce,
just want
so
to
I
say
know.
this, like just from Z and I, thank you to the people who did ask or even like listen to us or follow us on our Insta because we do some really stupid stuff.
Like we love you all, and the
Yeah,
whole idea with the sheeples has always been right. No advertising, no paying for followers, no paying people to like, share, comment, whatever. So it's 160 is a big number considering that, and there's a lot of support from our friends back at college
yeah,
whom we did our masters. So if you're listening to this, we love you so much. Thanks for hanging in there.
truly.
But
We
also
honestly,
new
from all
people
our
who've
heart.
come in, all the new people that have come in, you all have been discovered organically. If Instagram led you to us, then it's an organic funnel, and I'm so proud that there was, because I really feel that in the world that we're living today, first of all, you can't build brands anymore. You only can build communities, and the only way you can build communities is by not pretending to care, but by actually caring, and that's what we're trying to do. Like that's an attempt at least.
And we love you all as well, as much because this is just like the community we want to build. Like it's starting to get like take shape, which is great, and I think this is a lot of fun. So hopefully we can continue our stupid antics for we don't know how much
Yeah,
like
man, as long
who
as we
knows.
can. And no matter what, like,
Yeah,
even if this doesn't take off, when the both of us are old, we'll have something to look back and chuckle to, and like, oh my god, we were so cool.
Dude,
We
like we're
had a
still gonna be
pod, man.
recording episodes, even if it's just
Seriously, I
stuck
will
at
like,
this number,
I
we're
will like, dude,
fine.
hold on, let me get my dentures, yo.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hello,
but
people.
jokes like one of the biggest things we also want to do is like there's so much like of once the quarantine at least is over, or at least it's safer to
Dude,
meet
at this
people and
point, I
everything.
honestly think it's never getting over. I think it's trapped for
But
life.
the day it is, we do want to work like on a few projects where we want to get you sheeples involved. Hopefully, um, we'll work on it. We'll put it up on our stories, and if you want to be updated about like whether it be asking us questions, and if you are not following us already on these platforms, like definitely check out our Instagram, our Twitter, and on Reddit also. If you want to go there and make memes about us, about anything, join our Reddit community. It'll be a lot of fun. You can follow us on Instagram and Twitter by the name of Sheeples People, SheepleSpeople, Sheeples People, and on Reddit, our basic like community name is the Sheeples Podcast. It's just like a lot of fun, and I think we do a lot of content around in Twitter and Instagram especially. So if anybody is interested and wants to just take part, like rib around with each other and all that, join in. It's a lot of stupid stuff, and if we understand if you don't want to hear us doing stupid stuff, so it's cool.
Yeah, but we're still doing stupid stuff, you know.
Yeah. I think both of us wanted to say the name of the thing together only. We should have we can't coordinate anymore because of the Discord like app. It's sad. I can't look at him when he wants to say anything. So half the time like I'll be
Oh
speaking
fuck
over
yeah.
him and I don't realize.
So I think we have a video option, but that just be distracting. Then we'll both just be looking at each other, and, then, and that relation will just become romantic from
Okay.
platonic.
Z, can I ask you, are you even wearing anything
Ooh,
while
ooh,
recording?
I'm gonna leave it to the imagination of all the
Oh
sheeples
no, I shouldn't have asked.
listening to
I
this.
shouldn't have asked. Um,
Let's just say that I'm not skinny dipping at home, but, or am I?
is he is he skinny dipping? Is
Am
he
I?
okay? I don't want to know. I didn't want to think
Yeah,
about this.
exactly.
We
Yeah,
are we are sorry. We are
this
sorry,
was
sheeples, who
a,
ever had
this,
to think about
I
it.
mean, even though all our podcasts are explicit, we still we run a clean show, guys. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, we run a clean ship. There's no well, we try very hard to not talk about politics, religion, be any kind of sexist in any definition of the word, or just try to be respectful of all genders and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So we run a clean ship. So yeah, we're proud of that.
So okay, I guess we should start with the first question, right?
Sure.
So this one comes from Abhishek Rasane. He's a really so
Papa Abhishek.
his at on Instagram is Abhishek Rasane. He also has an at by the name of Darth Mulga. Do follow him because he has his own podcast that he's doing, where he kind of like has these uncomfortable conversations with people. He calls it like basically like uncomfortable conversations is the USP of that whole podcast, where he's
Okay.
taking up topics about a misogyny in the Indian movie industry, or why aren't people talking about the Northeast, or why aren't people like talking about Kashmir, and so on and so forth. There like he's doing some really interesting work there, and he's a really smart and creative guy. So do check him out. Like his Darth
Dude, and
Mulga is
I love his
where it's
graphic,
at.
like the thumbnail that he uses, right? Like this cute little head insert
Yeah, it's so
sideways. It's just
nice.
like it's like a semi-stoned, like मैं तुम्हारी मारने वाला हूँ तुमको अनकम like आजा बच्चे.
Bro,
It's a very
he's
nice
there.
expression.
And he also, just to say, like this guy was so I used to study digital marketing at this place called
Okay,
should I promote them, should I, why not,
कर
sure.
दे रे
IID,
plug-in at
yeah,
this
plug
point.
in. IID. So basically like he was my partner for the final project, so like we've hung out a lot,
Nice,
and it's been a lot of fun. So yeah,
nice,
he asked us
super.
what are our thoughts on selective activism. So that's a
Hmm.
very interesting topic.
ऐसा पहला 2
Um,
मिनट लगा के मतलब सोचना पड़ेगा. I'm trying very hard right now not to do like a Google search, but
so just to
I
mention,
won't.
like Z hasn't heard these questions before since I was the one who
Yeah,
was looking at whoever was sending us the questions in. Like Z doesn't know what these questions are, and he's going to be thinking on the spot. I might
yeah,
have
it's
had
like
some time, but then that's because I was looking at what questions you all sent.
on
So
my feet.
pardon me for
Do
that.
you, so you want me to take that? Just give like a very candid and like
So
unthought
I think
response.
both of us can have like a little bit on it. So if go
Sure.
for it first, let's see what you have to say about it, right?
Okay. So, thanks, Abhishek. That seems like a very insightful question. I mean, it's pretty straightforward, but I'm sure there's a lot of layering in there. I'm going to begin by saying what I understand from the question, and if I'm wrong, please do let me know. Okay. So when you talk about selective activism, right? So
Hmm.
I think of do you know how there are like three sides to an argument? Okay, there is the victim side, then there is the abuser side. Again, these are alleged victims, alleged abusers. Okay, so there is the alleged victim side, there is the alleged abuser side, and there is the truth. Right. So in my head, these three distinct variations always exist. So when it's selective activism, I'm assuming you're talking about somebody who's not directly affected by the said topic, but chooses to be like an armchair activist or chooses to be somebody who's just like a social media armchair hero. And nothing wrong with that. I mean, everybody contributes in their own way. Um, I see where you're coming from. I mean, sometimes it's annoying when, let's say, you are taking the side of the person being blamed, and someone else comes in with like a half-baked theory, and they sympathize with the other side, and they fail to empathize. Think objectively. And I think that's a quality that a lot of us don't have, including me. And I'm trying very hard to be objective, and it takes like a whole deal of effort. I don't really think anyone can ever really be 100% objective, but we can try for sure. So I think it's really important for any discussion to have a certain degree of objectivity. And I think it should be like this forced rule, okay, that when you're debating, let's say me and Abhishek are debating. Uh, First, I should be for a topic, and Abhishek should be against a topic, and then we should have a round two where I am against the topic and Abhishek is for the topic. And I think that would really bring out like a third neutral perspective, which we really lack. And I can only speak of as a country because I'm not putting the country down, but because I haven't been to other countries. I don't know how it's done elsewhere. So, in my opinion, when you go back to schools or you go back to colleges, or even when I went to law school, debating was always a very one sided thing. Like you took a side and you stuck to it. There was, once you took a side, you died with it or you prevailed victorious with it. There was no switching. And I think that's why a lot of selective activism takes place. I think maybe I can be blamed of selective activism to a certain degree. And again, this is me trying to be objective. I can be blamed when it comes to the issue of feeding stray cats and dogs. And there is a huge burgeoning group of people, and these are in the majority, who think that stray dogs and cats are a menace. And because I am so immensely attached to them, I don't think I can probably see, even if there are certain established um, negative points of feeding stray dogs. Like people often raise this thing where they say, "Arey, they attack old people and they attack young children." Now, to me, that always seems like fiction because I have never seen that happen. Neither have I heard anybody who I know or anybody who I know who they know. So even with second degrees of association, it's never happened. But it's quite possible that it actually does. So because I'm so attached, I will always be a selective activist. And I think I've gone on this question for quite a
Okay,
bit.
so Z, I didn't want to stop you in between
Yeah,
like your
yeah.
whole point, but like I don't think that's what he meant by selective activism.
Nice. This
Um,
is how you completely misunderstand the
so,
question.
so I guess I should have kind of got in a little more about what he meant by selective activism. Um, sorry for that. But like for the people, or for the sheepers at least, who want to know what he meant, he is basically asking about how people choose to only talk about certain topics and kind of glance over, or do not talk about other topics. So like if we are talking about, let's say, Lebanon that recently happened. Honestly, like it's such a sad tragedy, and people did post about it online. But then, what about the tragedies that are happening in India? The floods that were happening in Assam, not what's happening in the northeast, what's happening in Kashmir. Like quite a lot of people won't mention these in their stories, but they'll mention what's happened in Lebanon, or they'll mention like where the whole Sushant Singh Rajput case and all those kind of
Sure,
things. So
sure.
I guess that's one thing that I also. So my thoughts, at least on this,
Yeah, go
is
for it.
there's one of those things that like quite a lot of this stuff becomes really deep in its own way. Like you need to really look into it. You need to educate yourself a lot. And I would say like definitely people go forward and educate yourself. Learn about what's happening, at least like to know what's going on, even if you're not speaking out. The main thing about it is like the people at least who are speaking out, it's good that they know what they're talking about, because if everybody starts speaking up, there are times where people will just like some topics just are taken up, and not enough research is done behind it, and then it just becomes like following that herd, or following a mob mentality of like this is happening, so we need to do it this way. So first, like I think one of those things that we require whenever it comes to deeper topics, especially when it comes to our own country, is like look into the history, look into what's happening and why is it happening, and then get learn about it. But the other part of it all is there's so much happening in the world. We also don't know how much we can cover, how much we can talk about it. And it's sad that some people only do it for likes, or like only do it for, and I don't know, we don't know if they are actually only doing it for likes. Maybe they just really do resonate with it. And I think it's fine that if they are speaking, at least some kind of awareness is going out, even if it's very selective. Like at least more and more people who might not have known before get to know. The only part is like we need people who do speak about the topics, and who the people who do, like hopefully have educated themselves. We ourselves try to help from the background, because I don't we aren't comfortable enough, at least from our side at the moment, from what I have seen, because I feel like I'm very prone to mistakes, and I'd rather not, like put out a wrong message out there that would cause more problems. And I might seem like I'm copying out of this, but like I think I try to cover, or at least we try to cover from Sheeples as much as we can, because we also are trying to grow ourselves and trying to understand this fear and what's happening digitally. And I think the more we start understanding everything and educating ourselves and researching, the more we can speak about different topics. But at the end of the day, there's so much happening that if we keep talking about each and everything, then we also won't be able to do what we are set out to do. And I think one of those biggest goals that we want to achieve is bringing mental health into the conversation, bringing
Sure.
like other topics that we feel like we can do a lot more in, because we've experienced it personally, whether it be like helping out animals, or talking about topics that at least take away from because already this whole scenario digitally has become so permeated with just like all this news happening. We want to have Sheeples be that part where at least we can be safe and talk about different things and have that positivity, but also but we also want to have that idea of like we know what's going on, and we are conscious citizens, and we want to be conscious citizens. But it's a very difficult line to balance. We are trying to understand that ourselves. We aren't doing it that well, because I think we also have been selective at times, and we could have maybe done better, for sure. I mean, maybe no, we can do better. We can always do better. But yeah, I think it's one of those things which we are trying to learn, and maybe on our journey we might. But yeah, that's our thoughts. Like that's my thought, at least, that it's difficult to cover everything, and there are other prerequisites that might come, especially like whether Z is comfortable or not, whether I'm not comfortable or not talking about certain topics because we know about them or not. And yeah,
Hmm.
so I think that's from my aspect, that might be the answer. What about you, Z? Like on this part, at least, what do you think?
No, I'm completely with you on that. It's whether we accept it or not, we're all inherently biased on the inside. And
Mm-hmm.
whether we accept it or not is one side of it. Whether we're aware of it or not is also another side of it. And those personal agendas just keep coming in. And whether it's creating a podcast or it's not creating a podcast, both of them are agendas on their own. And we've some biases we live with because we never identify them. And to be very honest, time is an extremely limited resource for every single person on the planet. But the beauty of it is that everybody chooses to spend it differently. Like, for example, I have a group on WhatsApp which is extremely right wing in terms of Indian politics, and I have a
Mm-hmm.
group on Instagram that's extremely left wing. Okay, now it's
Mm-hmm.
completely up to me what group I want to read. Um, though I identify with neither, but I have that option. And if I choose to take either one of them, then that's the kind of person I will become. Those are the kind of topics that I will talk about. And then the other group will call out and say, "Arey, but iska kya?" And that's valid. That's completely valid on their end, but it's also completely valid on my end to say that, you know what, this is the time that I have, and this is where I choose to invest it. I don't think there is a sense of correct or incorrect here, but it's mostly just a question of what you choose to enrich yourself with.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't enrich yourself with everything for sure. And what's important to one person might not be to another, and that's a tough pill to swallow, but that pill exists nonetheless.
Yeah, I think I'm sorry if we couldn't answer it completely, or I hope we
Yeah,
were
just
able to answer it. This
I
question at
love the
least, but
question though. I think
yeah,
it's pretty validating. I haven't thought about something in a long time like that. So I just
it's
freeballed with it. And Abhishek, if we fucked up, or we said something, or at least if I said something that's not on point, I
same,
would
same for
love
me as
to,
well.
I would love to be educated on that. At least the one thing that I am proud of myself, and I'm sure this other dude is also of the same category, that we're always open to being incorrect.
Yeah.
And I think as mortals, that's the biggest superpower anybody can have, is not assuming that they're always right. And so if
And
we
we would
missed
love
our,
to know your thoughts,
yeah,
Abhishek.
dude,
Like, what do you think about
do
selective
have have
activism?
have have the podcasters on a podcast and make them uncomfortable.
Yeah. But no, honestly, like yours and otherwise as well, Sheeples, like if y'all wanna, give your answers to us, like let us know what your thoughts are on selective activism, especially like with so many people, like there are so many topics that are happening. Some people usually will talk about one thing more than the other. And the way that's happening, like what is your opinion on that scenario? If you all want to let us know about that, we would love to hear your thoughts. Maybe we can learn something from your answers that we've kind of looked over basically in our answers. And yeah, I think we would love to know your side. But
We
i think
would we would
I think now it's time to kind of move on to the next question. Yeah.
Next question, drum roll.
Brrr.
Oh, that
So
was
I
a much
think
better drum roll.
I'll go since we are on a deeper one. We'll go to the funny questions at the end.
Let's do funny. Okay, let's do deep.
Let's finish off the deep questions
Dude,
first
Adele would be
because
so proud, right?
we are rolling in the deep for sure. So the
Oh,
next question, I think this is a really good one to have next because I don't know. It's something that I think we that would resonate with us really well. This was asked by to us by a person named Emmanuel. Emmanuel, thank you for asking this question. His at is
you the best.
jseep underscore. His
All right.
and I mean I hope I'm pronouncing it right. It could be jkeep. It's basically jayceep underscore. So
Okay.
it could
Oh,
be
also,
jace ep jace ep underscore. So if I'm
so we'll just call you a
pronouncing
sheeple
it wrong, we
because
are sorry.
we don't even know what gender is.
Either way, okay, sheep. Thank you for
Yeah,
asking.
right. There you
we
go,
we really
sheeple.
appreciate we really appreciate the question. The funny thing was we just got it right before we started recording the episode, right?
Whoa, whoa,
So
whoa.
or they ask at least, why did you both start the podcast? And well, this is a really funny thing because I think our original motivation, at least, was well, you want to go for it first, Z?
Oh yeah, for sure. I think we talk about this way more than we should.
Yeah,
Think we make it a point to bring it up every
yeah,
episode, but I think even then it's not enough. So if I had to give you like a very cute, straight up answer, sweet shot,
yeah.
it would be that it was an attempt to create a virtual safe space,
Mm-hmm.
and it can be interpreted very vastly. Okay, so we actually started the podcast somewhere, like Febish,
Well, the
and
idea at least.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we had the idea like a while back, probably somewhere in the beginning of the year, but it took us about a month or two to put it into execution. And then we
It
had
took
started,
another month or two to give it like get it online,
dude, serious,
basically.
serious. And it was much before the whole quarantine business had started. The pandemic, it hit the world.
Yeah.
But when the pandemic hit the world, it just gave us a new meaning. And we're glad that our vision was pretty far-fetched, in that means that, it could adapt to what the
Mm-hmm.
world is going through right now. And it is just supposed to be a safe space where two people are talking, and you as a listener, as a sheeple, become the third friend to whom the
Yeah.
conversation is happening to. And it was like a nice laid back sleepover fireside chat, even though I've never been at a fireside chat, but I can only imagine they're awesome. So it's just a nice, cute, snuggly place, man, where conversations are very authentic. We make fun of ourselves because we have to remind ourselves not to take ourselves
Yeah.
so seriously. And I can just describe it as that, not pretentious at all, very authentic, very, very loving and warm. It's almost like going back into your mother's womb and listening to her
Oh
podcast there.
no, no! Why? It was
Like
going so well. It was going so well. Z, no.
like just imagine being a fetus and listening to a podcast. So like the most comfortable
Oh,
feeling.
no, that's just uncomfortable, man. I
Oh,
didn't
I
need
thought
it.
it sound
I
I thought
didn't
it
need it
sounded
in my
cute.
head. Uh,
Damn, I thought it
I
sounded cute.
knew,
My bad. Okay.
I knew. Okay, but
Just a nice warm space,
well,
man. Like,
Z's analogy aside,
yep, yep.
Z, yeah, let's move over to why I
Like,
feel.
like, like we
Okay,
would say in our local language, hug diya. मतलब
hug दिया.
इतना सही जा रहा था, फिर suddenly
Yeah.
hug दिया.
But I think that's one part of it for sure. I think one of that aspect of creating a community was definitely like the first thought. But one of the other aspects, and I think we like to hammer in this fact a lot more as well, is because we know what it feels like, is the fact that we were, at least in that time when we started the thought of starting a podcast together, or just the idea at least, was that we both were in a very dark place at the time, or rather, not like, I wouldn't say it was as bad as it can be for people, but like it was one of those things where we
It
were
was
doubting
dark.
ourselves. It was
It
dark.
was,
We were
yeah.
down. We were really like in that thought process of, are we doing, what are we doing with our lives? Why are we like, what is our purpose? Why are we doing anything? Or why first of all, we doubted our own skills, because at the time, like, it was during our placement season,
Oh,
and
so
it was
much
a little
self-doubt.
difficult to understand, like, how do we get placed, how do we get jobs. And there's a really funny story to that as well for me.
Oh,
But
dude, we have to lay that in at some point
there
as
are
well.
some things that changed since then. But so yeah, so the fact that we were in that place of, like, we didn't know what we were doing, and we weren't confident in ourselves. We weren't happy with what we were doing, and we thought um it like we were just I guess you can say it was just a very down, dark place where we didn't understand what we could do to get out of it. And
Yeah.
we thought, you know what, why not just take a mic, or and record ourselves talking about why we are feeling the way we are feeling.
If your name is
And
Mike, we took you, okay? So we owe it.
Mike Wazowski from Monsters Inc. We took him.
Yay, 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 yay.
But yeah, so the whole idea that, like, just because mental health is something we both have dealt with before this as well. And it's just the fact that, like, we were in that place of, like, and it's not that we've completely gotten out of these spaces, because there are days we'll be it won't be the best. And Z himself has, like, spoken about his own struggle during the quarantine. which I hope,
Mm.
bro, you're feeling better
Yeah,
now since
much
then.
better. Things are going well.
Uh, but like the whole factor of like just that mentally we weren't in the right space and we wanted to do something about it. Maybe feel productive, feel like we are working on something, and just that idea of what let's start a podcast, let's talk about something, and let's try to build something came up from there. And like it came around when we were just driving back from our college in and this was in January. We were just talking in the car
It's
and
like everyone partying, like, let's start a mariachi band.
this
Start a
was
bar.
just funnily enough, this was a passing conversation that had happened. Like I think I had mentioned this to him once before during like the previous year, just like we like what would be fun just to do just to do something like interesting or like just to do something like online together. And at the time it just passed off as a joke that yeah, let's do something and all that. And I think it just started growing, and by January we were like, you know what, let's act on it. And then February came around, and yeah, like Z ended up coming over to my place. We were really excited that we'll record the episode and upload it that day itself.
That would be, how difficult is it to start a podcast? Right? You just record, you
Yeah,
upload, and you reach a billion views overnight. So it's
yeah.
simple.
It's so
It's simple.
easy. Um,
Yeah.
no, but it was like our naive selves were like, let's do it. Let's do it today, and we'll upload it today. But you know what?
Yeah.
The first step of just taking the mic and recording pushed us over to like work that hard to get it actually online, like to
Hmm.
get it to be online at least, become give more thought to the idea, because at the time it was very impulsive. We decided like a day before or 2 days before that, Z, come over to my place this day. We'll sit together and record. No matter what, we have to do it because we've been talking and we have to record. And that like it just so happened that he also agreed at the time, and he also was there in the same space as me, and we had spoken about this so much that we were like, "Chal, let's do it." And so he came over, we recorded, and after we recorded and heard the file and like got to know more about
We were like, we actually sound funny. Like, or
yeah.
maybe we think so. That's all that matters.
Like it was funny, but yeah, we heard ourselves back and we got like we were like, oh my god, what are these voices, what are we talking about, how what is happening? um yeah, but like the fun part of it all was like once we recorded we realized that there was a lot more to actually starting a podcast than. And I think we might as well, maybe one day we can do an episode about how podcasts are started, like if anybody wants to hear it, because I think it'll become a big draw if I really get into like the whole logistics of how to do it. But basically, the idea like that we could do it that day itself was not possible, and we realized that we needed to do a lot of prep work. And that's how basically we ended up coming up with the whole idea of Sheeples, and like why the name Sheeples, and why like how do we make ourselves look the way we want to. And we worked on a website and all those kind of things, and we finally got, like it took us over a month. We recorded this episode like really early on in Feb. Was it really early on, Z? I think it was.
Yeah, I think so too.
And yeah, we basically uploaded at the end of March. Like we
Hmm.
went live at the end of March, basically
At the
28th
end of
March.
March. Yeah.
28th of March was the day Sheeples was live. It was born.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was quite the journey. But yeah, that thank you for asking this question, because we haven't spoken about this part, at least I think, like our whole how
Kind of.
we got to that
Yeah.
point.
Journey, true.
So hey, this took me back.
Yeah, full. Right in the fields. Yo, Emmanuel, you rock. Sorry for murdering your name.
Yeah, we apologize.
But that's
Um,
kind of our thing.
so, but yeah, I hope we answered your question. Um, this was like okay. So from moving on from that, I think there's a really good question that follows it. And this one comes from a really good friend of ours from our college that we were in. This comes from Narendra Shastri. His if anybody wants to check him out, his at is
Oh,
underscore
dude. I think
underscore Nars from Mars.
10 years down the line, 5 years down the line, this dude is going to be so big on that
Oh,
electronic music scene.
I
Like,
swear, lo-fi beats and everything. Like he's
if,
the guy.
yeah,
He
if you're
makes
one of
some
those
fire
who wants to
music, people.
discover artists beforehand, you follow this dude who's my other
Oh,
sheeple and Narendra. They both are going to be massive big in 10 years. And you want to be
oh my god.
into the circle right now. Dude makes
But honestly, he makes fire music, fire music. You'll love it. Check him out. He's working on a lot of new projects as well. He'll really kill us for saying all this, huh, by the way.
like तुम लोग बहुत तारीफ कर रहे हो यार.
मचा रहे हो.
यार तुम लोग
मार रहे हो भाई.
केवीएल ऐसा केवीएल केएमसीआर.
KMCH. भेजेंगे भाई. But yeah, so his question was one. There are two questions he sent basically. One is, what did you learn through Sheeples till now? And the second is, with 100 posts up, do you finally see Sheeples' vision crystallizing? Oh,
सीधा ऐसा फुल मिशन
deep.
विजन ऑब्जेक्टिव सीन्स हो गया अभी.
No,
मिस्टर
this
वेरी.
is genuinely very deep.
It's like I started in Mr. Very Stone. Like,
Yeah.
what are you doing, fellow? Yeah, stand up straight,
This is
fellow.
do not compare apples with pears, basically. But
What's wrong with you?
okay,
Oh, okay, let's not go.
let's not go there. I think
What
this
a
will become
huge
too
people.
very like it's very hyper specific to our class.
Yeah,
So
very hyper,
yeah.
insanely hyper local. Damn,
Yeah, so
you wanna take this one?
yeah, sure. I think one of the biggest things I think we learned from Sheeples, especially like the funny part of it all was, like we spoke about earlier, our jobs, right? Like we were really looking for jobs and we didn't know what to do. Sheeples kind of helped us one in a way that it made us understand our own like thought processes in a way you can say like how we can understand working our own brands because we've always like studied branding. We've always studied what is how do you build a brand, what how do you like maintain a brand image, and it's usually for other brands. We do projects, we do it for other brands. um this is something well more than a brand. I think the fact that we wanted to be a community and building it in that way and understanding like why what the whole mindset of our ideology of sheeples is, and how do we kind of build it up, bring it online, like because the whole thing is like we put up any and every thought that most of the time at least we get on our stories or on Twitter and all those kind of things. And the whole idea of like what is this voice of sheeples and how does it work, like other than the fact that there was a lot more like the understanding the business aspect for once like properly rather than having it as a project in college or something like that. This was actually like this was something that was tangible and made us feel productive, one. And secondly, like I think the other fact that I learned is like having a job isn't everything in that sense. Like if you're because the whole idea of like even if I don't have it, I'm still working on I'm being able to do something that I want to work on and building it up. Like it's definitely going to take time. It's not easy. And especially like when there's a struggle of like how will we monetize this and everything and all those kind of things. Yes, it's difficult, but it didn't feel like it didn't make me feel like I'm like I don't have the skills or I'm not worthy enough in a way, if you
True,
want to say that.
true.
It started the whole idea of like I can work on something. I learned I can do graphic designing. Like I'd never given it a try in that way. I mean,
Dude,
I
the
don't know. I
entire
wouldn't say I can
Instagram
do. I don't.
is this dude.
I don't
Like,
think I can say like I'm a good graphic designer or anything, but at least I'm trying my hand at it, learning, and hopefully I'll get better and better as time goes on. But the whole idea of like at least I'm learning skills that I didn't know I could develop before, which is quite interesting. And yeah, so I think more than a classroom, this has taught us a lot more about business and ourselves as well, because in the process, like we've spoken a lot and had this podcast. Like, yeah, that's one of those things. But what about you, Z? What do you think you've learned through
Hmm.
Sheeples?
So I think one of the things that I have to, I think his question says that, right? Like, is the vision more clearer right now at this
Mm-hmm.
point? And I think I have to say that, like I said earlier, that the vision was creating a virtual safe space.
Yeah.
And at least in that essence, that vision seems uh, to be holding on. It seems to be, we seem to be making progress on that front. But, something that's a little heartbreaking is that even though we began with the whole thing being like, we don't care, even if there's only one follower and one listener, we'll be happy. But I think we don't admit this to each other enough. But like, there is this internal need for external validation, right? Like, you want to be one of those big people who has 100 comments and like 20 comments in an AMA. We're damn grateful that we have, you people who asked us questions today. It definitely makes us feel good. It was either that or us pretending to ask ourselves questions. So I'm glad we
Yeah.
got here. But yeah, I do feel that this is insanely harder than I thought it would be. Of course,
Mhm.
I knew that it wouldn't be as simple as, we'd make progress in a month and everything will be hunky dory. But I'd expected some sort of consistency, even though at like a very slow pace. But I expected some consistency. I think we're still figuring things out. So maybe there's a lot of blanks
There's a
on
lot
our
to
part.
learn for sure.
Yeah, there are a lot of blanks on our part, but the idea is to make somebody who feels they're alone not feel alone anymore. And at least during the pandemic quarantine, which is still going on, but at least when it was at its peak a
Mhm.
few months earlier, I got into a habit of calling up a lot of my friends and personally asking them how they were. A lot of people who
Mm.
were stranded away from home, and I did tell them that, hey, this is a podcast that I started, and I feel it'll help you feel better.
Mm.
And they actually gave it a go, and they really enjoyed it. And I think that feels wholesome. It feels good. So in that sense, the vision, it's like the burning sun. Okay, it's very far. It's giving some sort of nourishment, but no matter how fast we're flying to get there, it's still far away. And
Yeah.
I think that's also humbling and also a little disappointing in its own way. So yeah, that's
So,
my
so yeah, so I think I agree with Z in this matter about like we both might not accept it to each other. That's for sure. That we hoped, or at least we thought there would be a little more. Even though in the beginning we were like, "Arey, even if one or two people, like, yeah, it might." But I think that's also because that's our tendency to want that validation sometimes. But like, there are so many who actually still listen and are listening consistently, which brings kind of some like that happiness that there are people who, or at least now sheeples, who genuinely are listening each and every episode. They want to hear from us, and it's been growing, like whether it just be Instagram or in these all these different places where there are sheeples who are looking out for what we are putting out, how we are hanging out, because make like you sheeples are essentially becoming our friends, right? This is the community we want to build, and seeing at least these many interested is always like heartwarming and brings some joy in our hearts, in the sense that yes, there's something forming, crystallizing. I'll still say like it's going to take some time. We are definitely like ways away from really getting to, I think, doing some of those things that we really want to work on. But that's just the learning curve, right? Like how we grow from here, where we go from here, we don't know. But that open path, as scary as it is, and we don't know where it'll lead, it's still as exciting as it was the first day we started. And I think that drive to get people to be more consistent to listening to us, and at least the fact that there's so much to do, so much to grow, so much work we have to put in, and we have so much to improve ourselves. That's, I think, the most exciting part of all, that we have to grow. Like,
Yeah,
just the fact that we can grow
bang
is
on.
exciting. But yeah, thanks Nari. We really really appreciate this question because it's quite
So
deep.
nose touch करेंगे नारी को like
uh,
Navi.
oh my god. What you did there. He's quite
Um,
the, let's just say he's quite the thirst trap in life.
ooh.
Oof. Jokes aside, I guess actually no, why jokes aside? Because now it's all the jokey questions.
Oh fuck
It's
yeah.
all the fun ones. Actually, no, wait. Before we go to the fun ones, there's one person who asked us. His name is Kalim, a rapper. Uh,
Hey, what's up,
and
Caleb?
and like, I don't know if you listen to us or not, like, but thank you for the question. And he asked, "What's wrong?" I think our personalities is what's wrong with us, dude.
Oh wait,
Like,
that was the question. What's wrong?
that's, yeah, what's wrong?
Huh? Okay, that question is open to interpretation.
Yeah, it's very open. I think everything is wrong and nothing is wrong at the same time, my friend.
Dude, there is so
Uh,
much zen here.
there's so much zine.
Zeen,
Zine.
oh my god. No,
Oh
man,
my
I don't
god.
know if this is like a like a thing on. Do you think this means he doesn't like the podcast? It's just like a random question because I don't
I
know how.
think this happens from time to time. Like, there'll be people who will wave when there are questions. I don't know if he listens to us or not, actually.
Sure,
Um,
sure.
so but again, like, even if you do, and we are sorry if I'm being wrong and you do
Yeah,
actually listen to us,
yeah.
like, if you genuinely want to know what's wrong or what's not wrong, I think it's been a lot better, I guess we can say. But what's wrong, and in the best way I can say it is, like, we as people are very stupid. We are wrong all the
Yeah,
time.
I mean,
So
no, I'm saying that we're the ones who are wrong because we're like trying to be all candid and non-scripted,
yeah,
and we're like,
yep.
hey, you know what?
That
We'll brain fart
that's
on the
as you
podcast
put it, the
and we'll
perfect way to
own
say
it up
it.
like a boss.
Uh,
Yeah. Or maybe we didn't understand the question. If in case we didn't, please
yeah,
elaborate a little.
we'll answer.
And best of luck
Drafting,
with
yeah,
your
music career,
music
definitely.
career.
Like, I hope,
Yeah, we
yeah,
hope that's
we hope
going well.
you do like wonders and you genuinely get like the top 100 artists and everything. So hey, all the
Yeah.
best,
And then here,
all the
I'm
best.
gonna drop a beat for you. Yeah.
Okay, that's it. That, wow. That was quite. I was. Oh no, I was gonna make a stupid, very, very stupid joke right now.
What was the joke?
I would say that's it. That's what she said, basically.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Happen.
Hubbard. Um, but yeah,
Man,
so
I
I
miss
think the
Ted and Zoe. So
next question to ask will be, okay, this is a really funny coincidence that happened with us.
oh yeah, I think I
uh,
know what you're talking about.
so Hormuz, our really good friend who was
Dude,
there on the pod
such a cool guy.
last
So
time.
much fun.
He, as you know, he has another act by the name of Baker Bawa, where he does some
My
really
God,
cool
you
stuff.
have to go check out his channel. I mean, you'd
Yeah.
want to eat your smartphone. Like it'd be so delicious. The photographs he takes. He's starting to
So
be a pastry chef, and he's another one of those whose inner circles you want to get in right now. Because like 5 years, 10 years down the line, this man is gonna be killing it
yeah,
so hard.
definitely, like, you're gonna see him everywhere. So like, the very coincidental thing that he did was, he asked the same questions both of us asked, each like ourselves, basically. Like, we put these two questions as jokes because at the time there weren't any questions coming in, so we were like, might as well. So so like, basically,
Z,
Z.
yo, अरे तू क्या कर
uh,
रहा है भाई? तू मचा रहा है, तो बस्ट करेगा फिर से.
yeah, no, I didn't say the full name. I almost said it. I almost said it. But Z asked, like, क्या आपके नमक में toothpaste है? And well, other than that, and I basically asked that stupid question of melody इतनी chocolatey क्यों है? Because why wouldn't you ask this question? Hormuz ended up asking both of these questions because he also asked, like, क्या आपके toothpaste में नमक है? And then
Dude,
ये melody इतनी chocolatey क्यों है? And like,
Saying
Wow.
great minds think so much alike.
Yeah.
It's not even funny.
Like
Not even funny.
honestly, like it's so fucking hilarious that that happened. And he also asked us this, क्यों चलती है पवन, क्यों
Oh,
झूमे है गगन, क्यों मचलता है मन, bro.
ना
You
तुम
answer this
यारो
question.
ना हम.
Exactly. You know.
खोपड़ी फोड़ साले की खोपड़ी फोड़. कौन पूछता है ऐसा सवाल की माँ का.
So he basically, well,
I'm
to
kidding.
to give you to give you
This
a very
is,
objective answer, we don't.
yeah.
मचलता है
Actually,
मन because मचलता
Actually, I
मन, bro.
know
It's
why
fine.
wind is created. Wind. I'm gonna
Yeah.
go all science on your ass. Okay,
Are
so
you gonna fart?
no, actually giving you like a factoid. Okay, so wind is created because of this thing called transfer of pressure, and wind moves
Okay,
from
okay,
an
okay. We are
area.
we are bored already. We are
Yeah,
sleeping.
an
Okay,
area of
okay,
high.
okay.
I'm gonna go all dad on you. No, you listen
No,
to
no,
me,
no, no,
son.
no, no.
Come here, boy. Come here, boy.
ना
Listen
तुम
to me.
जानो ना हम पे. Let's leave it
Come here, boy. Listen to my explanation.
there. No, boy. No.
Yeah, come here, boy.
Uh, but so another funny fact. One of our other friends asked the same question as well. Between chopsticks, also known as well, his real name is Harsh Waze.
Yo, yo, yo.
His He also does a lot of like food
Hope you're listening to
photography
all the
and those kind of
hammock
things.
stuff out there.
He does some really cool food photography, and
Dude,
definitely check him out.
mad
Between
photos.
chopsticks is his
Dude,
app.
if we get like between chopsticks and Baker Baba connected, that'll be such a fly
Hey, let's do
synergy, man.
it. Let's do it. Let's get them connected once.
Full
Um,
bromance happening in there.
Arey, bro, I swear. But yeah, so he also asks, Melody, itni what is with this question?
What did he ask? What did he ask?
Melody itni chocolatey kyun hai? And
Whoa,
he below that
dude.
he added sorry hai. Sorry had to do it. But well, like this, I don't know. The funny fact about this particular question, at least, there used to be, okay, for people wondering who aren't from this country, there used to be this ad in India that used to come for this particular chocolate called Melody. That used to ask this question, Melody itni chocolatey kyun hai, which basically means why is Melody so chocolatey,
Yeah,
right?
it was this damn awesome branding and
Yeah,
advertising done by the brand for sure.
yeah, but like the fact that kids turned it into a really stupid joke, and
Memes.
and also like a really, like, for the ninth and 10th standard boys and girls, it became something to giggle over.
Hey, I'm in the
Because
ninth standard and I take offense.
bro, I'm quite sure you also giggled at that time, huh? कि मेलोडी इतनी chocolatey
Hundred
क्यों है? Oh,
percent, bro. Yeah,
bro. Hey, let's
सीधा.
laugh at the question, bro. Bro, I mean, it was hilarious, bro. I still laugh at it. But that yeah. So other than this question, and Hormuz, thank you for the Q Chalti Hai Pavan
Yeah,
question.
you gave us so
Uh,
many giggles. We are forever
yeah,
grateful.
he Harsh also asks us, if you were able to live to the age of 90 and retain either the mind or body of a 30-year-old for the last 60 years of your life, which would you want? Like, which would you want, basically? Would you
So,
want the body of a 30-year-old or the mind of a
okay,
30-year-old?
I'm just gonna try and understand this question. Okay, so if I retain the body of a 30-year-old, so my mind will be 60.
No, no, no. So basically, for till nine, like if you are living
एक
till
काम करते हैं,
90,
ऐसा वेन डायग्राम बनाते हैं हर्ष, ऐसा म्यूचुअली एक्सक्लूसिव एरिया.
अच्छे
ए
से अच्छे से
इंटरसेक्शन बी.
वेन डायग्राम.
ए यू बी. ए उल्टा यू
सुपर
बी.
सेट. सुपर सेट
सुपर
क्या है, ए सेट
सेट
क्या है,
फुल.
बी सेट पूरा
सुपर
बनाएंगे.
सेन सुपर सेट. I'm a
But
sane super sane.
so basically he's asking, like, since from 30, if you're living, like, we are living till 90, let's say, or we reach 90 anyway, in this period, would you rather like keep the mind of a 30-year-old or keep the body athleticism of a 30-year-old? Like, what would you rather have in
Dude, I think
in
I'd
this
pick
case?
body, man. Like, chalega
Yeah,
apna.
right.
Yeah, like
I
I don't know what's like I could be wrong, but I don't know what's so special about the mind of a 30-year-old. I think if it would be like the mind of a 14-year-old versus the mind of a 90-year-old, then that would be a toughie. Because you know
so
the the good thing
Yeah.
about like, so I was once at I gave like this small talk on digital marketing to a bunch of kids who were 14, and I
Hmm.
told them that the amazing part about being your age is that you have no skepticism in life. You are
Hmm.
nauseatingly optimistic. You have no self doubt, and your self worth is intact. But as you sort
Hmm.
of grow older, you become very condescending and
Hmm.
skeptical. I think I'm not 30 yet, but from the way this progression is going, I don't think I'm gonna be like a very chiller person at 30. So 14-year-old
It's not
होता
that
था वो.
far for Z.
It's not that far for Z, man.
I had to put that burn there. I
Yeah,
had to
like
put
I'm
that burn
31
there.
already, so it's not that far. I'm getting to 30 very fast.
Udhar, like I'm just taking that matchstick and lighting a fire under.
Yeah, bum के नीचे आग लगा रहा है.
No, but like I think what the other fact about this whole thing is like I would love to, grow with the experiences I have. Having a 30-year-old's body at least like I'll be able to move around and do a lot more things when I'm 90 and not be stuck on the bed. Well, as if I'm doing anything different now, but not be stuck on the bed. At least like it won't be restricting, and it'll still be a healthy like I'll have a healthy life till then. But like with the mind of a 30-year-old, it feels like we'd become stagnant, right? In that age thought process, and it's there's something beautiful about growing with your experiences growing as you grow up, and your mind of your 30-year-old thing might not like grow that way. So I think the body part might be the better answer in this
Yeah,
case.
yeah, I agree. What about you, Harsh? What would you pick?
Yeah.
Interested to know that.
And any of the other sheeples, what would you all pick? Like, would you all rather
Yeah,
have the mind of a 30-year-old or the body of a 30-year-old as you grow old?
cool.
What
Would
would you
you
all?
rather, like,
Yeah. Also, here's another one. Another would you rather?
go for it?
If you could travel in time, would you go back to the past to change things, or would you go to the future to know more about it?
Ooh, that's interesting. So, I have been a pretty stupid kid. I still am a pretty stupid kid. So that's not changing really. And I'm kind of okay with it. I've come to terms with it. But like the future is interesting. I
Yeah.
mean, like, I don't know if do we even make it past the pandemic? Is the pandemic the end of the world event? I have no clue. Like at least people out there have suddenly become very optimistic and cavalier about the whole. They become very nonchalant. Like हाँ ठीक है ना अभी हो रहे हैं ना लोग मरेंगे ना तो ठीक है ना like that vibe has set in. But
It'll be fun to know what happens with the sheeples as well in the future.
oh yeah, true, true. Like what if like tomorrow Sheeples becomes like a faith? It's like a new religion, and there's like this huge
Like the
monastery.
pizza religion,
Oh god,
praise be
the
unto the pizza overlords.
official food. That was such a badass graphic, man. Official food of the
Thanks.
Sheeples is pizza.
Yeah. But yeah, so so I think I agree. Like going to the past, I'm not sure if I do want to change anything. I mean, as much as there are things I would be like, maybe I could have done this better, or maybe I could have done that. I still don't think I'd like to change it because I reached this point to this decision because of whatever's happened in the past,
Yeah,
and I think I'm pretty okay with that. Like I'm peaceful with that. I'm good. I'm happy with where it is, and I think if I want to change something, I need to work on it from now, so at least I can do that, right? um Going to the future, like learning about what's happened, what's happening, what's the new tech, how people are living in that particular era, like hey, that sounds much more appealing than anything other than that, right? So
100%, dude. 100%.
yeah, I think that's our answer to this particular question.
Thanks,
But
Harsh.
yeah,
That was a damn
what
cool
about you,
question.
Harsh? Yeah,
Yeah,
thanks
what
for the
about you? What
questions.
would
What
you
about
do?
you?
What would you do? अपन ऐसे
And
पूछ तो रहे जैसे अभी आएगा उसका जवाब. हाँ तो
हाँ ना,
गाइस मैं ये करने वाला हूँ कि
Sheeples is like if you're gonna answer, definitely let
you know
us
what?
know.
I mean,
Like,
for everyone who's put up a question and we've asked the question back to them, we could probably take their reply and quote it up and put it on Instagram.
I mean, at least we can put it on. We can tag them on the post anyway, like
Yeah,
the
yeah,
new
exactly. So
episode, that episode. Like
everybody
we would love
else
to.
who's listening to this, who wants to know what the
Well,
person who
Emmanuel, we can't ask him like why he started the podcast because I doubt he did.
Oh yeah, for sure, of course.
But the people we can ask this question to, like
Yeah,
definitely let us know. And Hormuz, please tell us क्यों चलती है पवन क्यों क्यों
तू बता हम लोग
मचलता
को,
क्यों झूमे है गगन क्यों मचलता है
सुनेगा तू बता. हाँ,
हाँ.
probably reply with a hera fairy meme or something.
I swear, bro. He's definitely gonna do that. But finally, we are at our last question. And this is from again from a really good friend of ours, who's also been one person who gives us a lot of feedback. Like I've gotten to improve on a lot of things that like he told me about, and he gave me the idea to put up a story with our voice, like a video story where people can hear a snippet of our podcast, and like quite a lot of feedback. And that person is Jainam Shah. um his at
Sir,
is the September guy or the September guy, whatever you wanna pronounce it as. He's a really good photographer. You should check out his page called The Humorist. It's really cool. He's
and let's give a shout out to Hiloni Cakes while we're at it, because why not?
we shall. He's always on that. Hiloni Cakes. Shout out to you for the amazing bake pastries and bakes and cakes that y'all make. Also, Jenna, promotion के लिए पैसा दे अब.
हाँ अभी
Jo-
self.
jokes aside, he asks, were Ross and Rachel on a break? Now the question is, did you ever watch Friends, Z?
Yeah, me no, I didn't.
Hmm. So I think I'll have to be the one to answer this question.
Unless
Um,
everybody doesn't cancel out this podcast because I haven't
so
watched.
can I give you, okay, this is going to be interesting. So you don't know any of what Ross and Rachel's relationship was, or how it was, or what happened, or all that, right? I doubt you know any of who do you know who Ross and Rachel are?
Nope.
Okay, so best thing is, like, this will be an opinion that comes from you objectively and completely, and we'll get to know a thought process that does not know anything about these characters and is not attached to any of them. And I'll give you my thoughts after.
Oh,
So let me give you a basic scenario. There's this guy by the name of Ross. He's been in love with this girl named Rachel for a very long time. He's older than her, and she was his sister's friend. They've known each other for a very long time, since they were like teens and all that. And he's always had a crush on this girl, but like in between their lives, they went their separate ways. All these people did their own thing and ended up like meeting again later in life, and started hanging out again, became really good friends. And Rachel and Ross at one point started dating. Okay.
mhm.
And mind you that Ross has been in love with this person, or rather has had a really deep liking, at least, to this person for a very long time. And he's like a paleontologist. She's someone, at the time at least, she was working as a waitress. She wanted to get into, she didn't know where she wanted to go after this. She was still finding herself at that time. And they came together, and they started a relationship, had a beautiful relationship and all that. But what happened was, like, in between, they had a fight. And Rachel suggested the idea that, you know what, maybe we need some space from each other. Let's take a break from them, basically, right? From them, as those two, as Ross and Rachel, as a couple. um and what happens is, Ross is really devastated by hearing that, and Rachel is too, but like, it's just that at the time it was just a really bad atmosphere, and she also wanted to be a little away from it, from the fighting, and from the arguments. So they decided to take a break. And that night, Ross goes out with his two buddies, and these guys are also like, they are a part of the same friend group, Joey and Chandler. And they go out just because, like, those two take him out to, make him feel better. Like, let's go out, let's just have a drink or something. Let's like just forget about what's happening right now. And what happens is he ends up sleeping with this other girl. Okay, that night. And in the morning, what happens is like Rachel also is realizes that "Arey, maybe we shouldn't have taken a break or whatever. I'll go back and talk to him." And when she goes to the apartment, she finds him. She gets to know that he's slept with someone else, and that takes them over the edge, and they break up after that. But
Hmm.
at least for the time being,
Hmm.
at least that happened for the time being. Now, the whole argument here, and that started whenever they fought later on, or when they got together and didn't get to. They were a very on and off relationship throughout the series. They've always been on and off, and like basically like this whole argument was like what Ross did, was it like okay or not because they were on a break? What do you think? Like, was it okay for him to do it? Was it not okay for him to do it? Like, and what are your thoughts on it? There's a lot more to it when you watch it, but like, yeah,
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think just off my mind without analyzing it too much. I think if they took a break and it was both of them were mutually aware.
right that night, like just a few hours later, he slept with someone else. That's where.
You know
So
what? I
yeah,
mean, they took a break and they mutually moved away. And I don't know, like, if there were any terms to this break. Like, a lot of couples usually, when they take a break, they
yeah,
like, at least in my
yeah,
experience, whenever there's been a break, there's been a breakup. So, so like, but probably it's different for other people out there. If there were some terms and they were like, hey, you know what, we won't see other people, we won't sleep with other people, then I guess it was wrong. But I think if there were no terms given, then well, he did what he had to do. And if she
yeah,
had done the same thing, I would have said, well, she did what she had to do. So it's not got to do with a man doing it or a woman doing it. I just
yeah,
think that
yeah,
if there is ambiguity, then you can't hold someone by the neck if they take it their way, right?
yeah.
What
Especially
about
coming
you?
to especially coming to today, right? I see your point. I completely like. I think it's a very thin line between like. So the fact that there was so much there before them, I like he had so many feelings for this one girl. He loved her so much, and then he ended up. Well, it wasn't cheating because they were on a break. Like I wouldn't say that he cheated on her, because yes, it was a break, but I don't know if he should have done it right 2 hours later, because in the morning she came back to talk to him again. Like it was just the fact that she wanted to get back together right the next morning. So I don't know if so again it's not completely wrong, but it's not completely right either. It's the fact that maybe I get the whole fact that he was in a very vulnerable place, and it just so happened that this girl who was kind of interested in him, at least for a little bit, ended up like making her move and ended up sleeping with him for the night. But the whole fact that like maybe he should have waited a little bit, because the break was very fresh, right? Like the moment it happened, it felt, at least if you look at it from Rachel's side, it's like he moved on right then and there when he was supposed to have such deep feelings for her. If you get what I mean, right? Like,
Hmm.
uh, and it's a very divisive thing, because I wouldn't say he was completely in the wrong, because that's not the case either. They did split off for the time. He didn't. They both didn't know where it would go. But it isn't like I'm completely on his side that he did it, because you know what, you could have at least not done that for the night. Maybe do it a little later. Give yourself the whole idea that like you've been with this person and you're in love with this person and you're okay to go forward and do that with someone else. At least if you're a very monogamistic person, if you are polygamy, if you're a polygamist, it's fine. I mean, if that's the way you prefer it, that's fair. Like your partner knows that, you know that, that's all cool. But when you both are in that relationship where you all both know each other and you all were that committed to each other, and the moment like something happens and there's a break, and then one partner goes and does something with someone else, when like there was still so many things that were raw there, maybe that wasn't completely right.
Hmm. That's an interesting perspective.
But that's just deeping the question. Like we kind of went deeper. If you want to make it a joke, like I don't know, I like they were on a break. That's how it always happens. But yeah, so thanks Jenna. Thanks Jenna for asking the question like that. That was fun to talk about. Yeah,
You're
this
a good
is
friend
this
with him.
huh? Pardon? You were
You're good
saying?
friends with him. What do you think is his take on this?
I've never like really discussed this with him. I think I would love to hear what he thinks genuinely. Like I've never discussed this particular topic with him. So um, what do you think, Jeremy? Like, were they on a break? What Ross did? Like, was it right? Was it wrong for you? Let us know. What and whoever other person, like whoever has watched Friends, right? Like, let us know what you all thought, because this thing has been like argued over by so many people,
Mm-hmm.
and there's so much to look into it. But either way, like yeah, it all worked out in the end, right? So hey, that's not bad. But yeah, thank you everyone for the questions. We really
Yeah, we had a
appreciated it.
great Amma scene. That was super
Yeah, this was
fun.
we definitely vibed today
Yeah,
for
so
all
hard.
of this.
Like our coffees got
Coffee
over
vibes.
before we started, but coffee vibes.
Yeah,
And yeah,
coffee
I guess
vibes
you're
for sure.
listening to this coffee vibes is like an interplay between English and Hindi. And also
Yeah,
coffee being like the pun for like the Indian version of kapi, coffee. So
yeah.
yeah, we kind of like हम लोग थोड़े creative है वैसे
Hey. um,
कभी कभी थोड़ा बहुत
I guess yeah. This is something. This is where we'll end it. This was the last question, and we really appreciate everyone who listens, or
thank you
even like
so much.
follows us. Thank you for doing that. Yeah, like honestly, it really means a lot to us.
Yeah, we had a damn good time. Thank you for listening in Sheeples. We're gonna see you on the next one. This is Z signing out.
And this is 1000 minus 7 signing out. Bye.